What's going on, everybody? This is your boy Big Woo, Atlaccess, live at Cafe Ulu on Sylvan Road. We're here at the film industry meeting, live in effect. We have Namso Akpan, special guest, and he's running for Georgia Senate District 36. Right now, we're here sitting here at Cafe Ulu, networking with industry professionals, and definitely letting them know exactly what it is that Mr. Namso Akpan is running for and how it can directly benefit them. Right now, we like to welcome everybody to the film industry, networking meeting. This meeting is about just awareing and disseminating information to our industry professionals and how they can get a big piece of the pie of filmmaking here in Atlanta. First of all, how everybody doing?
Great.
All right, great. We live here on Street Politics, and what we do here at Street Politics is disseminate information to the masses, politically, any way, form, fashion. We're going to disseminate our information to the public. So right now, without further ado, I'd like for everybody to go around, introduce yourself, introduce your company, introduce why you're here, and let us know, let us hear from you, let us feel you. It's very important that the audience knows exactly who's on the mic. So introduce yourself, your business, and how you think the film industry can benefit you here in Atlanta. Okay, first of all, we're going to start from our right. Go ahead.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Julie Hardy, and I'm originally from Cincinnati, Ohio, but I live in Atlanta, Georgia now. I've been here for about 15 years. What prompted me to move here is because I am a writer, and I'm looking to write short stories, films, books, and music. Since being in Atlanta, I've met a lot of people that's in the music industry, but I haven't met many that's in the film industry. But I have been able to be an extra on one of Tyler Perry's shows. I was an extra in the Alvin and the Chipmunk movie. Since being here, I've won 3 honorable mention awards at Clark Atlanta University. They hold a National Writers Conference every spring, and it's open to the faculty, the students, and the public. Also, my biggest thing that happened to me since I've been here, I won a brand new car in a writing contest. And in 2016, the Praise Channel 102.5 had a contest if you or someone deserved a new car, write an essay. So I knew I was going to win because I'm a really good writer. Oh, wow. And actually I did win, and it was presented to me by Calvin Johnson, and I did not know that Calvin Johnson has a foundation called the Calvin Johnson Foundation. So I was the recipient of that award, and my children were able to meet him, and I won the car. But I'm really looking to also be employed in the industry as maybe a writer. I might have to start out maybe as a production assistant, but I'm trying to find what avenues to go through to try to get connected with the industry, because since being here for 15 years, I've noticed that I was here before the movie industry came, but it is here now. I really wanted to go to New York or California, but at the time I didn't think that would be feasible because my kids were small, ages 3, 8, and 9, and now they're 24, 25, and 19. So I'm just hoping that I can find some way to get in the industry, like a shortcut way, because I went to a lot of events here, but it's hard to find channels for African Americans to be a part of the industry. So I'm hoping that I can learn more about getting involved as an African American woman.
I'll hire you.
Wonderful.
All right, my name is Brother Ron Hurd. I'm from Memphis, Tennessee. I represent the We All Be TV, news, and radio. And also I'm the founder and director of the We All Be Group Incorporated, 501c3 nonprofit. I actually came here to interview Sister Chinyere over there, the financial guru. But I gotta make those opportunities. I'm currently like a nomad. I've been traveling all over the place, connected with my relatives, trying to get my own narrative in line. I think it's important in media that we control our own story right now. that we stop marginalizing ourselves and stop becoming invisible in our own stories. It's time for that right now. I believe in Afrofuturism. I believe in us determining who we are and what we need to be. And I also believe that you don't learn who you are at school, you learn who you are at home. So if your home ain't in order, you can't do anything outside of it that's going to be beneficial to you or your people. So I'm just looking not only for opportunity, but to create opportunity for myself and also to empower myself so I can empower my people. So I also want to know where you got them pork rinds from. I'm a pork rind fan. Yeah, I was looking at those.
My name is Kiara.
Pork rind connoisseur.
My name is Kiara Carter. I'm originally from Alabama, small town Alabama. Been here in Atlanta for probably about 5 years. I was doing most of my acting as a little girl in Alabama, just traveling, playing some things here and there. Since I've been back in Atlanta, I've just recently started to get back into the acting world. And I have a nonprofit foundation called Sympathy Royal, which is for children. It's dedicated for helping the children in the communities that need food, clothing, shoes, whatever. It's something that I just started as well. It's going to be dedicated towards also just the upliftment of our people as well. And I'm just here today because I really want to just be a part of this and just support it, because I also believe that there should be more opportunities here for African Americans. And I also believe that there is a lot of work here. I drive Uber and Lyft, and yesterday I got 2 producers from Los Angeles, California that I got in my car, executive producers of some shows, and they were Caucasian, and the guy said that he got paid $30,000 to be an executive producer of a show. And when I mentioned something to them about myself being an actress, just trying to connect with people because, that's what we're supposed to do, they had absolutely nothing to say to me. I introduced myself. I told them, look, I'm an actress. This is what I've done. Nothing. It was just silent. So, I'm just really here to just support us and be here for the upliftment of us.
Wonderful, wonderful.
My name is Darius McCullough. Basically, I like to write, but as far as today, I just came out to support, basically see what's going on. What's your business?
My name is Daisy Chase, and I live literally down the street.
Mm-hmm.
And since this is a community event, I really want to get involved with the community. I've done some acting just on backgrounds, been on America's Got Talent, on my roller skates. I just, I really want to do some more in the industry. I'm not a comedian, but people think I'm funny. But I just feel like at my age that I can do more than just sit home. And even from a child, I always thought I was the star of the family. So
Word up.
I just want to continue that. And I do have 29 years of computer skills. That's why I don't like the phone anymore. But that's what I want. I want to be a part of something that is going to be profitable for me. Sometimes just to be proud of, and for other people to see that we still can do things at an older age. I'm in my 19th year of remission from breast cancer, so that's
Yes,
a great thing.
glory.
That's right. So that's me.
Hey, Daisy.
Hi, my name is Keisha Chapman. I just moved to Atlanta less than a month ago. Oh, no, not a month. I'm sorry. Less than a year ago. It's been more than a month. But I am by trade, I'm a marketer, and I'm a creative project manager. Mm-hmm. And so I just wanted to become a part of the creative community. And I also have an organization that I'm starting called Take Flight ATL. And it's a creative organization dedicated to supporting purpose-driven individuals passionate about impacting positive social change. and that can range from temporary housing to the point where you can, get yourself together as you pursue your creative dreams here in Atlanta. It also can include resume writing and career coaching. And I've had 15 years in the advertising world. I've worked in New York, I've worked in Chicago, I've worked all around for major brands and agencies, and my purpose is just to support. I do not have any particular agendas to being here, but I would like to network with people and find out how I can use my skill set to help them. Yes.
Yeah, hello, my name is Roland Andy. I'm in the campaign train to see Namso Akpan to the Senate. I'm a member of the campaign committee, and I appreciate to see you guys all here. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Kenneth Kwame Welch, and come April, I'll be here 5 years. I'm here from Los Angeles, and I am executive producer for a movie production company. It's a dream that I had when I was in LA, actually years of my life, to not come to Atlanta, but to get involved in the movie business. Anyway, the name of my company is called Atlanta Segment Productions, and so my background is computer science, history, genealogy. So I've kind of like rolled all of these things into it. I too have worked in the advertising business in New York City, and I retired from the music industry and came to Atlanta to get involved. So I went from music, and now I'm into movies. And that's basically it.
Hello, everyone. My name is Gina Davis, and I am one of the members of Atlanta Wood, which we are supporting Namso Akpan for the 36th District of Atlanta. I am here to help everybody that's in Atlanta, anyone who needs to come up. That's what I'm for. I'm here to change our image here in Atlanta and all over the world, because we know that we're powerful people. We're not the negative stigma that they put on us, and that's what we're here. We're here to change and direct them.
Hello everybody, my name is Ube, and I'm also a member of the community supporting the candidacy, I don't know, Namso Akpan as a Senate for the District 36. I don't have anything to do with the movie, but I'm going to get involved now 100%.
Thank you everybody for coming out here today. My name is Namso Akpan. Why am I here? I'm here because I have a burden on my shoulder. That burden, as of today, has become like a life challenge. A few minutes before we came in here, while he and I were sitting in the car, I got a phone call. It was from an old friend in Canada. And a few weeks ago, that friend had called me and asked me for guidance on how to get involved with filmmaking. Now, it's funny that that friend of mine that called me to ask me for guidance is the sister to the head of Nollywood, the second largest film industry in the world. His brother is one of the people that I mentored in film probably 30, 35 years ago as kids. Okay, as kids. And today he heads Nollywood. His name is Bond Emerwa. The reason I bring that story up is that she called me to ask me for something that her brother has controlled more than anybody else here in the U.S. Nollywood has created over 2.5 million jobs. So imagine her calling me for help when her brother controls it. But you see, because it's her brother, she didn't respect it. She told me, oh, my brother, I really haven't spoken to him about my dream. Wow. The whole world respects your brother now. He's He is second to Hollywood. Now, I left Nigeria in 1997 because I had reached the top of that industry there. By 1996, I had produced over 1,000 productions. And I decided, well, if you have 1,000 productions on behalf of your production company, and you're not a billionaire, maybe you're in the wrong place. So I got on the plane. I spun the globe to find out where should I go. I want to go to the most powerful black city in the world. And it was Atlanta. Though I grew up in Columbus, Ohio, I decided to come back to Atlanta because in 1997, immediately after the Olympics, it was the talk of the world for black people. So I came here with the dream. I abandoned what we had built there and came here with the dream. While here, I realized that the people here were even further behind the Africans. The Africans were at least enjoying their vision. You see, in Africa, they weren't there dreaming of Hollywood. They were living in Hollywood every day. They were paying their bills from filmmaking. They created their own industry. Now, me being here in Atlanta, the first 5 or so years was kind of the learning how to interact with actors, how the mentality of actors. It took me 10 years to realize, wow, producers and actors cannot be in the same room because they think totally differently. If you're having a meeting with producers, actors should kind of stay in another room for another meeting because you might have to say the opposite to actors and the opposite to producers. I also had the opportunity of developing all kinds of infrastructure to grow the industry here. We started at the bottom and we did everything. I started with a production company. Years later, I had to abandon the production company because I realized the vision was bigger than a company. So I started teaching people. For any of you that has been involved with filmmaking in Atlanta for at least 10 years, 10 years ago I was teaching producers for free. 8 years ago I was helping writers to make films for $250, complete films. All you had to do is have a script and have $250. And I would help you turn that script into a movie, and I don't even want my name on it. Because for me, my feeling was, that's how I'm going to get you into making the movie. That's how I'm going to excite you. Because all of a sudden, you have a movie, so you're going to make another one. Our organization provided distribution all around Atlanta. Most of the stores here had our distribution. We used all kinds of ways to get these films out, and we were actually selling films. I remember there used to be a time we used to drive, maybe like 6-7 years ago, just drive on these streets, stop at each gas station and pick up $200 each gas station. All around Atlanta, 200, 200, 200, 200, 200. From selling local movies that cost maybe $500 to make. But the problem that we had was that every person I would empower, you see, it's funny how this room is, for me, it's empty. Because if I was to say, if I had the kind of power to say, if I have empowered you, you have to be there, this place would be full. But you see, the thing that I realized is that every person that I empower, as soon as they are empowered, will run away from me. Because I'm not the color of the Savior. I'm not the color of the person they feel can save them. There have been episodes where, for example, you come to me and you pay $250 and we make your movie. Your movie is complete. Remember when you paid $250, we told you that we're going to duplicate the movie in DVD and put it in all the gas stations? Now the movie's complete. And you're out on the street calling me names. That nigga this, that nigga that. My movie too much to be sold in a gas station. Wow. But you have no distribution. Sometimes I get so mad that I will say, let me prove to you that it's my money. You only gave me $250, right? And we have a complete movie. Whose money do you think it is? It's not yours, it's mine. So guess what I can do? I forget about you. Throw the movie in the trash. Who you think is going to suffer? You. I completed 1,000 productions in 1997. I'm not available for auditions or awards or stuff. I was just helping you, hoping that we're going to be able to do this thing together. Because the film industry is not a one-person business. It's a business that can empower generations of people. We grew up to 2010. Then there was a trick. The internet came in and changed everything around. By this time, I think we had probably up to 600 stores that were selling independent movies in Metro Atlanta. And the internet came and made the demand for DVDs go away. We decided to try the internet. Then we realized, wow, the internet is just like the mainstream. If you're not YouTube, you're not going to get a click. You can get free clicks. But as soon as you put $1 up to a point that I experimented, I would, for example, take all of you and make a movie, right? Then I put the movie on a website, right? I won't even let you guys watch it. You got to go watch it on the website, and it's $1, and I sit back to see, and I call you up. Have you seen it? No, not yet. Have you? No, I'm finna see it today. Have you seen it? No, not. Wow. Wow. You won't even pay to watch your own movie. And you want me to put it on DVD. So at this point, we've got to really learning this industry. By 2013, I kind of mentally stopped being a filmmaker because I realized that making films is not the issue anymore. It's deeper than that. Our minds have been taken. We have been brainwashed. We have been taken so far away from what and who we're supposed to be. And it's all done by Hollywood. So at that point it was, okay, we have tried to do it together. My people have been broken. All these rap songs have told us not to do anything together. So what do we do? How do we proceed? That's when we started getting involved with politics and dealing with Abel Mabel. I remember last year, or most of last year, the year before last, there was a lot of us in going to the Capitol and talking about a certain bill. There was a committee that was set up to look into how to bring the indigenous people involved with Hollywood. Abel Mabel was the one heading that committee. I started attending meetings with her, and at the end I realized that that committee itself would never save us, because in that committee you had black people just like us. For example, the son of Maynard Jackson. You see, the son of Maynard Jackson, there was a day in the meeting that I told them, I shared with them how we could do it. But the problem is when you have the people that you trust and they're supposed to represent you, and they're actually the ones giving your cookies away. One of the things he suggested was the state increasing the tax rebate from 30% to 40%. And while he was proposing that, I realized that he was there with his wife, who is struggling to get into Hollywood. So I then realized, wow, so this is a family thing, because your dad was mayor. Now you come with your wife, you're about to take our taxpayers' money and hand over to California so that they open a door for your wife. This is not logical. These people have not done anything for us for the 30%. Why are we giving them an additional 10%? They told me, oh, the additional 10% is to make sure they hire indigenous people. So my question was, so if they did not have a role for him to be the star of the movie, okay, does this 10% all of a sudden open up an opportunity for him? They're not going to rewrite the script. All they're going to do is get the 10% and hire you as a security, hire you for catering. 10% of 100,000 or of 100 million. You know, when they come, you got to remember how these tax credits work here. For example, let's say you have a film project, and this is what our people need to understand, why Hollywood is here. They ask you, why is Hollywood here? Hollywood is here because they can make money off the tax credits. You see, as an executive producer, for example, those people you said are executive producers, if I was in the vehicle with them, they probably wouldn't say that, because I would tell them, you're just being paid for paperwork. That's all. You probably are not even allowed on the real set, because you have these people who are lawyers who know how to cook up the paperwork. If you can show that you're spending $100 million here, that means you're going to, you're in Georgia spending $100 million. In Atlanta, there's tax. So if you spend $100 million, 10%, 8% tax is what? 8%.
At 10%, yeah.
In Atlanta, $8 million.
That's
$80,000.
80,000.
I'm sorry.
If you're spending $100 million, for example, Black Panther, they said they spent $200 million.
Yes.
Because you're doing it in Atlanta, and you show your paperwork that you're spending $200 million, that means it's like going to a store to buy something for $200 million. You got to add 8% tax, right? Okay, so you add the 8% tax. Then they give you a rebate of 30%. 30%, it would be $8 million in taxes. 30% of that $8 million is what? $2 million? $3 million? Okay. So you get a check from the state of Georgia. That check is transferable. Now remember, in film production, it's not like baking cookies. You might not spend any money. You already bought the camera. You're not going to go and buy the script in the grocery store. So it's not like, fixing a car that you got to go buy parts. So you might not really spend the $100 million the way other businesses do. Okay? But you have an opportunity of getting a check for $2 million. You can now take that check to Coca-Cola or Kroger, who actually have tax liabilities because they sell. And you say to Kroger, how much do you owe in taxes? And Kroger says, oh, this year we owe $4 million. I got a check for $3 million. Can you buy it from me? Yeah, we'll buy it from you, but we'll pay you, if it's a $3 million check, we'll pay you 2.5. So now they saved $500,000. They're happy any store is happy to do it because it's in the law. The checks are transferable. And they're transferable up to 2 or 3 years. So if you don't spend it this year, you can transfer it If you don't transfer this year, you can do it next year. Now, as the senators here failed to be able to come up with anything, that's in the state senate. The higher senate, the federal senators, realized, wow, this industry is really booming here. They had been ignoring this industry ever since. But all of a sudden, the federal senators are now involved, and from what I heard, they have taken it to the federal level. And what are they trying to get? For the film industry, they're going to allow them to file their taxes in the same year they spent the money. Not like, like regular people, it's going to be last year's own. You spend it today, you can file it today. It's cool because you're in the film industry. Wow. Now remember, the people that control the film industry are also the people that control the banks. They're also the people that control a lot because they make that control possible. By me learning all this, I realized, wow, you can't send a boy to do a grown man's job. You can't send a kid to do something an adult is required to do. When it comes to the film industry, I believe I am the adult in this state because I'm one of the only people that can talk about another film industry, another time we tried it, and the results that we got. Okay? I also realize that the problem we are having is the people that represent us, when they're in the room, in the Capitol, it's not something. And remember, it's not a black or white thing. Hollywood is a huge entity. Whether you're black or white, challenging them is not something that most people do. Most people don't even think about challenging them. For example, we all know that Hollywood controls the music industry. We all know that the music industry is the number one or one of the top 2 or 3 problems in the urban communities because of the dialogue, because of the lyrics, because of the words that they're pumping into the community. But how many times have you ever heard people talk about boycotting V103 or 107.9? How do you boycott them when your dream is to get on them? Mm-hmm. You will jump at any opportunity to be on V103. So how are you going to even get the courage to say close them down? So on Sunday, like today, I tested them. I turned it on during church, and I listened to all the fuck and suck music. And I'm like, wow, wow, wow. Does the mayor know that V103 is playing fuck music during church? So if I come out of the church and get into my car, I don't like to listen to country music, except people like Kenny Rogers. Okay? So if I want to listen to hip hop, what's wrong with that? My son comes to me every day wanting to dance with me. And we dance to Migos. We love Migos. But how do I tell my son that I'm a responsible father when we're talking bitch? My son is like, bitch. I'm like, wow. I'm like, wow. How did this song, because I believe that at a certain time they had to play this song to a group of executives who were going to back this song with a budget, right? Mm-hmm. How did these people sit there and listen to this and at the end say, okay, put $1 million behind it?
But they used to only play clean versions, and now all of a sudden I noticed that I hear
You're cussing on
so
V103. Wide open.
It's like all of a sudden it just, because part of it is, you see, they used to, before the internet was hot like now, you could get away with clean version, dirty version, because regular people couldn't get to the dirty version.
Right.
But now, as soon as your child hears a song, they Google it. And when you Google it, the real version comes up, which is the dirty version. So it's like probably the radio station felt they got people now, so they don't even have to do it. Okay? So by realizing that, wow, our main problem is representation. We don't have anybody in the Capitol building that, number one, has the courage, number two, has a plan. Because when you say Hollywood leave, look at all the talents here. The talents are crying to have an opportunity. So that is why a couple of months ago, I realized dreaming of somebody being able to take this mantle and get it through, it's not going to be possible. Most of the time what's going to happen is that the person will go and will not understand what the film industry is about. And if you don't understand it, how are you going to establish it? How are you going to get it? It's like if you're looking for, you can't build a house. So somebody can put something together and hand to you, there's a house, you got to take it. Because you don't know the foundation, you don't know what is required. So that is why I am representing our community. Now, what am I going to do when I go there? Number one, my main focus is to become the senator for this community so that in my first 2 years, I can go in and create a simple bill. It's going to be a bill. Somebody asked me the other day, how are you sure you will be able to do it? And I said, the difference between me and anybody in there right now is that the people in there don't have a solution. I have a solution that even the governor will love it. Because my solution would be very simply, hey governor, do you want to leave a legacy for both black and white people around the world? Do you want to create at least 1 million new jobs? If you want to, let's put this in. Don't worry about Hollywood. Don't worry about where the money is going to come from. Why? The state of Georgia already is giving Hollywood over $500 million every year in tax incentives. All we want to do is say to the state through a bill, out of that $500 million that you give to Hollywood, break the folks here $200. You trust Hollywood, right? You say they're promoting our state, right? And that's why you're giving them the $500 million, right? I feel that we can do 10 times what they're doing. For example, in a Hollywood movie, they get 10% for having the logo in the movie. What do the Hollywood producers do? They put that logo, made in Georgia, at the end. The movie was excellent, but you're going to sit through the credits to see the logo? No. But we just gave 10%. Okay. Yeah, some people do. Now, quick question. You said you do. You do what? Now, why do you do it? I know some people do it.
I'm an actor, so.
Oh, so you're watching, you're reading the credits.
Respect to the people who worked on it.
I worked on the set.
Mm-hmm. Right. Okay, I understand that. Okay.
And see if I might see my name by
By mistake. I don't know if that happens often, but so if let's say we were in the center right now, okay? That's the first way I would negotiate 10%. Out of the 30% you give them, take the 10% and give us. And guess what? We're gonna put the logo in the front. We're going to have the governor walk up and talk about Georgia eating a peach. before you watch the movie. Now, will Hollywood do that for you? Nope. You're not that significant. They can leave to any part of the world and make their movie. So then,
I have a question. I mean, this is just how it's always been. It doesn't have to do with Georgia per se. I mean, nobody puts anything at the front of the movie, and I don't know if anybody really wants to see it.
They put coming attractions in front of the movie all the time.
Well, it shows that, I mean,
Other movies of theirs.
in the front of the
you can
Other
put
movies, you put whatever you want.
theirs, what do you mean exactly?
of the people.
Of Hollywood. They're not going to show your movie in front of Hollywood. They're going to show Hollywood's movie, other partner production companies. You see what I'm saying? They advertise for their own.
Let me share.
But they didn't advertise Birds of a Feather. That's a good movie here in Atlanta. It was shot here. Any movie shot here.
So, where was Birds of a Feather played?
Zaytoven made it. Hot producer Zaytoven, Gucci Mane's producer. He made.
In theaters?
Yes, it was in Landmark. It was in South Lake, AMC. But did Hollywood recognize it? No, because it was an independent. It wasn't part of LA's. So you will never see it as a coming attraction.
Like Boys in the Hood and all of that.
But go ahead.
Spike Lee pieces and all of that.
Go ahead.
So,
I've seen Spike Lee movies in previews, so I mean.
But not as strong as a lot of others. You know, he still don't get the recognition that he deserves.
Hold on, it'll come full circle.
Yeah.
It'll come full circle.
But the bottom line is this: you see, the beginning of the movie, that first 5 minutes, or that tape, or that DVD, or that whatever it is, that belongs to the person that owns that movie and that distribution. Okay? That beginning of the movie belongs to the distribution company, not the filmmaker. See, if you produce a film and you send it to my distribution company, I'll stack things in front before I make your DVD and release it. I will stack his movie, because they're all under the distribution company, for example, Universal or whatever. They'll put, let's say, Lionsgate. You'll see Lionsgate projects that are going to come out before your movie. Now, that space there is space that the state of Georgia, through my being a part of the Senate and creating our own industry, remember now it's ours, right? So we can do whatever we want to do in the beginning of the movie, which Hollywood would never let us do. That's power. A lot of people have seen Black Panther and have witnessed Black Panther. I have not gone to watch it for certain reasons. Number one, it's an excellent movie. But at my level, I don't get played. I don't let anybody play me. That movie there is just, give these niggas a movie. Put it on their Black Week, their Black Month. Make it about them. But inside the movie, most of you did not understand. Did you notice that there were some white characters? No problem with that. Remember, I am not interested in a black film industry. I'm interested in a film industry that offers opportunity for people every color. But,
fair.
But, most importantly, when you create a movie and you have psychologists study the script and embed things in that movie that regular people that have not understood movie creation won't see it. For example, the story in Black Panther. Those white people in the film, can you remember what they did? If you notice, they were put in the film to save the black people, to protect the black people, to give some kind of help, guidance to the black people. Are you following me?
Yeah, but that didn't happen. So which white people are you talking about?
Excuse me. How you doing? What's your name? Kimberly. Would you introduce yourself? Y'all came in late and we have already met everybody. So can we get to know who our people are? Okay. Go ahead, Kimberly. What do you do and your company, and how can the industry?
I'm an actor.
You're an actress?
Yeah, and I assume this was something about uplifting
Yes. Yes.
industry.
Yes.
So
Okay.
I came to listen.
You're an actress. Nice to meet you. You could tell us about yourself or pass. Okay.
Yeah, we just wanted to
We
know.
just want
you.
an introduction.
Yeah.
Okay, my name's Erica Cohen.
Okay.
I am an actress, I'm a writer, I'm a producer, and I produced in Los Angeles. I've just come here from Los Angeles. And so we were just actually just referring to that one movie that you didn't see.
Right.
That's why.
No, I mean, just introduce yourself.
Yes, okay.
We're going to get back there.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, remember that this meeting here was not about Black Panther.
Right.
It's not about Hollywood. It's about the people here. And it's very important. It's not about black. It's nothing about black. I'm not one of those people that is a black fanatic. In fact, if you put black in anything I do, I'm against it. If you put black in anything I do, I'm against it. I believe that everything should be brought to the forefront. And anybody that is qualified should get it. I also believe that things should be written. They should be written with truth. This industry that we're talking about controls everything. So it is important that we in Atlanta, Georgia, get to control parts of the industry. Now, let's say, and I'm going to talk about Black Panther, but not the movie. Let's say next year, through Georgia's own industry, we start creating movies like that. The content of these movies are going to stimulate growth here. For example, the designer clothes that are going to be in these movies are going to be clothes that you make, that you can make, costumes that you can make, that can create, for example, maybe you rent that building there, you put 50 people there, and they sew in the clothes, and if it's a horror movie, Halloween time, we're buying clothes from you. We want films. We want to create an industry, just like, remember Ford in Hollywood? Ford stimulated Hollywood with cars. If he manufactures a car, his car will never be able to get into a Tyler Perry movie because we don't control the other end of Tyler Perry's movies. That's why Tyler Perry's movies may not empower anybody in Georgia. His studio is up the street from here. I've known him for the last 18 years. I've never seen anything he has done through Hollywood empower anybody. The movie industry is the most powerful entity in the world. We need it to start empowering us. When we look at everything in life, everything, all these ideas all generate from movies. And that's the main reason I'm running. Years ago, I was interested in making movies, but today I'm more interested in the power of the movie industry being shared among people in my community. When I say my community, you see like here, half the folks here are white, half are black. This community, a lot of people don't know. White people used to live here. That's why I tell people, don't talk about gentrification. I ain't no white person coming to take your stuff. They were here before you. They just coming back because of traffic. Open the door for them. Don't hate on them. Because guess what? If you're pushed out, it's your fault. If you bought a house $20,000 and you held it for 50 years, now you should be selling that house for $250,000. But you didn't make any repairs. You didn't do anything to upgrade that house. And that's why you're losing it. So I've realized that in order for us to shape black and white relationships in America, we got to be able to script the film from the beginning. We got to be able to be powerful enough to inject things that are in our culture and have tolerance to other people and things that are in their culture to be in films. Okay? Now I'm open for questions. Remember, we're creating a full-fledged movie industry. At this point, I won't say from scratch. I've been focused on this here in Atlanta for the last 15 years. All we're doing is taking everything that has worked and putting it together in a formula that it will serve everybody. I'm happy to take questions.
Let me see.
No, she wanted to ask.
Okay. Questions, Q&A. Keep it short. Don't keep it too long-winded because I know everybody got some questions. But this is definitely a part where we want to hear from you and hear from your heart. So, you got a question?
Yes. First of all, I would like to make a point about, I haven't saw the Black Panther movie yet, but I do plan to go see it. I heard it was a phenomenal movie, but I did feel the same way that
Namso.
Mr. Namso, Senator
Yeah.
Namso, I felt the same way as you about the film. Because on Facebook, I saw a lot of African American people lined up with their dashikis on. And everybody was happy to go. And then I started kind of feeling sad, like, that's just another movie that they threw out, like, around Black History time.
Mm-hmm.
But it's more films out, for African Americans that are positive, but we don't get to see them in the forefront. People may bootleg them and sell them in the stores or the streets, but you don't get to see them on the big screen. Mm-hmm. And then also I heard a few years back that Comcast opened up their network for people that were financially stable in order to bring more positive movies to the cable network. They said that people could buy into the cable company. So Magic Johnson bought in to Comcast, and he has a channel called Aspire, Aspire, and it's supposed to open up the doors for people to bring positive films to the network. But all I keep seeing is reruns of Sanford and Son and things like that.
Absolutely.
So I don't know what's going on with that.
Now, again, a lot of our people, for example, I'm going to talk about bounce. When our people were going to get bounce, I laughed because I was in a couple of meetings. And I said to them, God, wow. So when they get a channel that they can't sell, they call our people and sell it to them. But that channel that you're buying got so many stipulations that you can't make money. Then they're going to control the content. And they're going to keep rerunning old movies that they make you buy. It's like they sell you a channel or rent you a channel. Then they rent you the movies.
Wow.
They rent you the movies. And you show it. And you say you got a channel. Part of the problem is that you're not realizing that you don't control the infrastructure. It's like a railroad track. Just because I give you a box on it, it doesn't mean anything. The tracks are going to go only where I say they go. The reason I really gave you a box is to contain you and your creativity. And the only way we're ever going to have something that's going to represent who we are is going to be when we are bold enough to lay our own railroad tracks. That's what I have done. I've created the railroad tracks that is going to deliver us, not just here. Because remember, there are minorities all around the world that are oppressed due to image problems. This railroad track is going to open the doors for everybody.
One more question. Do they have a company that builds sets in Hollywood and then they bring them here by truck? Or do they have do they employ people here in Atlanta to help build sets?
What happens is that they have the main companies that come here. These main companies have their executives, etc. When they get here and they need people of different talents, usually of a certain financial level, they'll go out into the community, into the trade unions, and they'll hire through the various trade unions that are here. Remember, Hollywood operates very, very union-like. So they deal with other unions to get the things done. The main problem is that the people that are here, people that live in these communities. I remember 8 years ago, when I spoke to Joyce Shepherd, the council lady here, I requested her to hand over the Lakewood to my organization then, for us to use the Lakewood Amphitheater to create opportunities for the indigenous people here. Instead, she took the same letters and the words that I gave her and gave to the city and got Screen Gems here, saying that Screen Gem will create 1,000 jobs. A few days ago that I checked, Dominic was doing the research and said Screen Gem has created 8 jobs. 8 jobs in this whole community.
8?
8. So the problem is when you have our people that don't understand this industry. Now, again, Hollywood, the state of Georgia, the film department in the state of Georgia is ran by a director. Lee Thomas. If I had the opportunity to meet Lee, I'll say, Lee, you remember me? I'm the guy that created vending machines before Redbox. That I came to you and asked you to help before Redbox. And what did you say to me? You said you're a liaison officer and all you do is look for locations for Hollywood. From you, I then had to go to Lawrenceville to meet the president of the Convenience Store Association and share with him my vision of vending machines for DVDs. I designed these machines here up near in Conyers. This is before Redbox. I was shocked a year later. We created our machines and we put them out all over Atlanta. And I got citations all over. Those machines actually led to my being divorced. Because my wife thought I was crazy. You making vending machines for DVD? Who gonna buy a DVD out of a vending machine? She was shocked a year later. I think that was 2006 or 2005. She was shocked a year later when she saw a red box at CVS. So what I'm saying is, when the leadership in the state has no knowledge, now you see how they can play us. What has she done? My question would be, Lee Thomas, what have you learned between the time I met you and today that makes you the boss of the film industry? Because when I met you, you didn't even understand anything to help us. And we had vending machines. Imagine what could have happened if she had vision then. Question?
Thank you so much. I have 2 things to say. First of all, the Black Panther came out of a comic book.
Yes, it did.
And the Black Panther has been around for approximately 45 years now. Okay? I collect comic books. I've been collecting comic books for 45 years or 46 years. Okay? And so, Ms. Ryder here, she said correctly, when they want us, to jump on the bandwagon, they'll present something. Okay? Now all of a sudden you go into the store, there's Black Panther t-shirts, there's Black... As a matter of fact,
merchandise.
I went to my local comic book store in Little 5 Points yesterday, and they were full, all the Black Panther comic books. They're making Black Panther and the White Panther. You know what I'm saying? Every form of a comic book is out now because they feel that they can cash in on it at this point. So the average comic book for like a DC Marvel is going for $3.99. That's what the price is. But if you go try to buy anything with the Black Panther on it, Shuri or any of the other Wakanda, whatever.
Oh, by the way, if anybody wants coffee, you can go ahead and get it down. So that we can pay it before we
You're paying
just
big bucks.
on the tab. Sorry.
And I was shocked yesterday. Well, I'm not shocked. Some people were coming in there and they were looking at all the Black Panther paraphernalia, and holding the prices. I've been collecting for years, so I know that if you want to get into, if you want to make some big money right now, don't get in the stock market, get into the comic book market, because that, the appreciation and the price appreciation of a comic book would make the average Coca-Cola stock look like a joke, okay, nowadays. So run out there and start selling some Wakandan forever material, and then you will come up. Trust me at this point, okay? But it's been locked off, so
you won't get it. You won't get the
vendor. Say that.
Yeah.
Number two, the main thing is the law. The reason why all of these people are coming here to Atlanta is because that same league was the person recruiting them.
Yep.
It was a law written in 2008, and I recently found out, if I'm not mistaken, that the law is only temporary. You have to understand something. You can go all over Atlanta now, and the producers are not just coming here to film, they're actually coming here to live now, because there's so much money to be made. There's so much movies, TV production here in Georgia that they have outstripped the whole of Great Britain. Okay? Great Britain is 4 countries: England, Wales, Scotland, and North Ireland. But Georgia is making more than those 4 countries combined. Okay? So what's going to happen is that this law is temporary, and by 2021, it's supposed to phase out. And when it phases out, these people are going to be stuck here. Okay? So all of the tax rebates and incentives and so forth that they get, does anybody know how they work here? I'll tell you how it works. Okay? For example, if you come here and you want to make, it's lucrative for you to come and you want to make a movie here, because you can get the equipment and everything for little to nothing. Okay? When your movie is finished that you've made, you got to leave it behind. You cannot take that equipment with you. For example, if I'm making a movie right here in Atlanta. If I decided to go, my movie that I'm making is about New York in the 1970s. So if I go back to my hometown of New York to finish my movie, I cannot take any of the money or any of the equipment that I acquired here in the state of Georgia. It has to stay behind.
Here.
Now, what can you do with that equipment? You can sell it to another producer here, or you can give it away, but you cannot take it with you. So that's something for you to understand. The control is so insidious, okay? Now, recently I found out that the guy that wrote the bill actually was sent to North Carolina to write a similar bill over there, and the North Carolinians
They bucked it.
They bucked it.
They didn't want it.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, those fools, those idiots. Until I started realizing they saw the fallacy, the false in this bill. Okay? It's just to draw people here. And once they're here, stuck, you're finished.
Now, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but Hollywood is one of the greatest destroyers of any community. Any place they go and film, when they're through, that neighborhood is gone. If you look through. I remember when they came to the Lakewood Amphitheater, was that 1980 something? Smokey and the Bandit 2 destroyed it. Jonesboro, Gone with the Wind. Gone with the Wind. That place hasn't changed since. Conyers, in the heat of the night, Covington. It's like every area becomes stuck. This neighborhood, Hollywood shoots here so often. And I see every time they shoot what it does. You see, if you're used to driving down the street and for 1 or 2 weeks somebody blocks the street, you're going to find another route. Once you find another route, it's hard to come back. So a lot of times being in our community is not really creating a healthy life for us. Who wanted to?
Okay. My question is, we're here today, and we all want to find out like where we possibly can fit in. Okay, so after today, what will we be doing next? This is a group that will have all of its own actors, all of its own producers, all of its own everything, like to start out, I mean, like in an executive form, is that how it goes?
Okay, that's an excellent question. What happens after today? The purpose of today was to meet, talk, brainstorm, see if anybody will ask questions, trick questions to get us to see what point we haven't covered. Okay? After today, we're going to get actors into a group. Because you see, Atlanta actors are not Hollywood actors. They're different. The Hollywood industry is built differently. It has a different intention. In order for this industry to be of benefit for the people here have to also have rules of engagement that is going to fit what they're doing. For example, if you are an indigenous filmmaker or an indigenous actor, what's going to be your purpose of joining SAG? Nothing. We're not going to have anything to do with SAG because SAG is a different industry. How are we going to pay actors? We've even gotten to that. For the state of Georgia, in the bill that I'm going to move, any actor, once we put in the bill, and the bill is put into a law, if you're an actor, all you have to do is join the state-recognized Actors Association, okay? Get a card, right? So now you're a member. You don't join SAG.
But what about if you are already SAG?
That's on you. We have nothing to do with that. We don't care.
Okay, I'm just saying to you, if you are already in the unit, you can't do yours. I can't do yours.
I'm going to explain. Yeah, I'm going to explain. I used to be asked that question. See, what we're talking today, I tested it probably 8 years ago to up to 4 years ago. I tested it for 4 years. I tested it with at least 500 actors here in Atlanta. What if you are not, if you have a SAG card? See, it's like this. This is your SAG card, right? You spent $1,000 or more to get this, right? This is your landlord card. You spent $150 to $250 to get this. Whichever one feeds you, pay at the potential. If your SAG card pays your bills, good for you. For your cousins and relatives and neighbors that the SAG card does not pay their bills, you're going to see them riding Bentleys with their landlord card. Because their landlord card understands that as an actor being in somebody's film, he has a low budget film, okay? He has less. So he calls you now and says, come and be in his film. In today's Atlanta, he most likely doesn't have money to pay you. Because he's a member of the producers, the Georgia Producers Association, and she's a member of the Georgia's Actors Association. As soon as she comes into your movie and signs your contract and you ain't got no money, the state of Georgia guarantees you $15 an hour for being with him. Okay?
And you're saying that as an actor you're going to get paid $15 an hour?
Minimum. Minimum. Compared to right now, nothing.
Right.
Right now,
Right now, nothing.
I understand what you're saying. Right now, you're paying nothing. If you're working, you're getting paid. So you're saying, so I understand you're not getting paid $15 an hour because that's.
Let me share. What I'm saying is this. Right now, you got to remember me. I'm talking about from my point of view. I know at least. I have at least 1,000 actors who have gone through me in Georgia.
Yeah, but you want to have good quality stuff. So I mean, the one thing is that you want trained people.
Follow what I'm saying. Follow what I'm saying. Follow what I'm saying. It's important you follow what I'm saying. We're going to have our industry is going to have the best people, because we already have the best people. But right now, I know actors who are very, very good, and they ain't had a check in a year. And every place they go to act, the people have no money to pay them. So this law, my main focus is to say, stop being in a dream. Wake up. Ain't no time to dream no more. Come and face the reality, because I know that carrot of 100 million one day is okay. But you can't feed your children with a dream. I know too many actors who have broken homes because they're following this dream. So what I'm saying is, to start, I'm going to guarantee these people a minimum of $12 an hour working with him, a producer. Now, the question is, how are you going to guarantee this? Right? You see, him being a producer, by him joining the organization for indigenous producers, he will come to 1 or 2 seminars, which I will also go and say to him, dude, you see all this stuff you've been told in the past? They're lies. Don't call it low budget. It's called smart budget, not low budget. See, Hollywood told you that low budget stuff. But Nollywood producers are taking $500 and making films and stacking their pockets big. They take $500, make the film, and at the end they make $100,000, $50,000 out of that film. $100,000 to them is okay. You follow me? Because it's out of 3 months' work. How many filmmakers in Atlanta are getting $100,000 out of 3 months' work? I don't know any. I'm not close to any. I know there are some, but I've never sat close to anybody that rich in this industry.
So I have a question. So how are they actually getting paid for this film that you're speaking of?
As a producer, he produces a film. He has a contract with you. He contracts you $12 an hour. So at the end, he owes you money, right?
Right.
Okay. How is he going to get the money?
Right.
Part of the bill is going to be the most important thing. He needs distribution. He needs marketing. He needs celebration. Those are the 3 things he needs that he doesn't have to breathe. I'm going to give him that life in a bill. So that as soon as he finishes his movie, he needs distribution, right? So the state gives him distribution, right? He needs marketing, right? The state gives him marketing. As soon as he's given marketing, that means they're talking about his movie like it's a Black Panther. He already has distribution. So people are already ready with money to go and watch the movie. Then the actors are being celebrated. The same way Hollywood celebrates the actors. So the actors are feeling and enjoying the life. Then, because he has completed his film, he submits his film to the state. He's a registered filmmaker in the state, right? And the government is for him. So the government cuts him a check, a minimum check of $30,000 to $40,000 for his smart budget production. So if I'm advising him, I'm going to say, try to spend like $1,000 to $2,000 and make that movie, but make it good. So he spends $1,000 to $2,000 cash to make his movie. Now all he's owing is his actors, right? He submits his film and gets a check for $40,000. He had you come around his set like you've been going, right? You've been going around sets here. You pay your way, you go 2-3 weeks, right? At the end, they have no money to give you, right? But in his case,
they have food to give you.
Yeah. In his case, he gave you food, and at the end of 2-3 weeks or a month or whatever, he writes you a check, $2,000-$3,000. What I've realized is that most actors that are logical and really understand this business understand that if you are making $3,000 a month acting, you're blessed.
Yeah.
You are a blessed person. Now, if you anybody that think outside of that, you need a slap to wake up, because you're in a dream world. That's not real.
You only make $64 for the first 8 hours, and then after that you get they try and work.
That's extra work. That's extra work. That's extra work.
That's what.
That's what.
No,
Let's
they're talking
clarify.
about extra work, or they're talking about acting.
No, I'm just saying, as an actor, you're an extra work here.
That's all that's available in Atlanta
I'm talking
for the
about-
community is extra work.
I'm talking about
Exactly.
I'm talking about actors.
Okay.
Because
So we got to address the abundant problem.
Because right now, the truth is that most of the actors running around Atlanta with talent are not getting paid.
And they're also all non-union.
I want you to-
This is a non-union
No, I want you.
conversation.
No,
This
I
is
want.
the whole non-union
I want you to.
state.
I want you to bear in mind one thing. When you say anything in what we're doing, don't bring any word that Hollywood uses. It doesn't mean anything to
But
us.
that's it. Then how are you
No,
going to bring
no,
in
please, please,
actors?
please, please, please.
That doesn't make any sense.
I want, please,
I mean,
please. No, you got to follow what we're doing.
I'm an actor.
Yeah, I understand.
I'm a union actor.
I understand.
And I still came here just because I also wanted here to do some of my own stuff here as
Okay.
well.
I know you don't want. It's your
but-
natural state.
But
Go ahead.
but I can understand why they film here because it's non-union. They got all non-union. They can take advantage of that. Therefore,
Mhm.
that's why the extra work is $64.
There's
I'm
nothing
a
to hold their
union-
foot to the fire.
Pardon me?
There's nothing to hold their feet to the fire.
Right.
No union.
Right.
Exactly.
No union. And also, people aren't trained
Flames.
here. People aren't trained here. You got to get
Flames.
trained if you're an actor.
Okay, now let me share
Whatever.
some. Let me share something with you. Let
You
me share
gotta
something with
do
you.
that.
Let me share something with you. You see the part of training you just said? Don't believe it. Not true. Let me explain this. My daughter, I've produced so many things with people. I've witnessed actors. I will mention actors that are, there's no actor in Atlanta compared. Nadia, no training. None. Nadia Buhari, she's top in the world. Genevieve Naji, none. Van Vicker, these are people that just maybe went to a little acting class. But most importantly, see, when you talk about training, 10 years ago, it used to be funny here. I don't know how long you guys have been in acting, but let me tell you what I was doing 10 years ago here. There's a trainer called Boyd, something Boyd. He's very popular.
Yeah, he's yeah.
The
I know exactly what
Caucasian
you're talking
guy,
about.
Boyd.
Boyd, yeah.
Boyd something. Dwayne something. Now, he has been training a lot of people. What he hated the most about me 10 years ago was the fact of when he says to somebody, come and pay $1,000 and join my training. And the person, the next day the person is talking to me. And I say to them, come and pay $300 and join a movie. Now check that out. One person is telling you pay $1,000. Dwayne Boyd. Okay. One person is telling you pay $1,000 for his training. And I'm telling you pay me $300 to get in a movie. I hiked it up to $500. I used to have producers, actors, never been in a movie. They line up, each one with $500 to get in a movie. I get 10 of them put in a movie. I just made $5,000. Because I understood that these people are looking for opportunity, not training. But somebody keeps dumbing them down with training, dumbing them down with training. Acting is a God-given talent. I'm one of the best. I'm one of the. Excuse me. I'm one of the best actors there is. Like right now, I'm acting. You feel me? I'm acting. You follow me? the point is this. The point is this. I've never ever.
But that's just, it's not for everybody.
Because
That's not everybody.
Because I'm talented. And this business is for talented people. So what we're saying, and
No,
most
it's not
importantly,
necessarily, it's for lucky people.
no, when it comes to Hollywood,
be
let me explain to you. Let me explain.
Always have to be
When it comes to Hollywood, you just heard the news. To get into Hollywood, maybe you're willing to get on your knees, up like this, get busted, and promise not to tell. That's how a lot of them are getting there. But when it comes to real talent, God has given you talent. For example, again, my 4-year-old daughter, I would never let any human being train her because she's excellent. I look at her and I realize if I brought her to you, you're going to dumb her down. You're going to tell her, no, don't do it like this. Don't do it like, who are you? Most trainers are failures in their professions. Most people who are teaching.
That's coaching.
Most people that are teaching did not make it, but they want to keep their foot in. And a lot of them, they want to, like Dwayne Boyd, what Dwayne used to do is you got levels in his organization of training. And how are you training me and promising me opportunity, but when an opportunity comes, you're the first to take it because you're trying to get in. So really, as for training, in this industry, I'm never going to promote training. I'm going to say to people, come the way God gave you. So that if you're making $15 an hour, you're paid $15 an hour from your God-given talent. There are people that is the best job. I've had old people tell me, Namso, this is the best job I've ever had.
So you're just talking actors, you're not talking crew.
I'm talking everybody.
Okay, so you got to have training for crew. You got to have
now
crew.
let me share some.
Let me
share some with you. Let me share some with you. Let me share some with you. Remember, we're creating an industry. So if she says she wants to be a crew
all right,
worker,
okay, then fine. Maybe y'all are.
Let me just finish.
Can you do DP work and all that?
Let me just finish, please.
No, because if I want to get a film together,
let me just finish.
I don't want people who don't know what they're doing. I want a good crew. I want somebody who can operate the camera. I want somebody who can do sound.
Mm-hmm. So
I want somebody who can do my editing for me.
So you are a producer?
Yes,
okay.
I said that already.
So if you are a producer, I'm sure you're going to get
the best
people who can work with you. The only thing I do is I'm going to guarantee those people that they will get paid a minimum of $15 an hour hanging around you. Because right now, they're not getting it. Up the street, there's a carpenter who is not getting anything. He said to me he's going to bust the lightning trucks. He's going to bust them because he doesn't see why they park all around his neighborhood. They get him money, but he has never gotten any opportunity. So for the people that Hollywood has opened doors for, God bless them for you. But for that 99% that Hollywood has ignored, we're going to offer them opportunities of a lifetime. Because it starts from there. Once we can do that, then the truth of this industry will come. Because let me just share with you my anger in this industry. I've grown to be annoyed now. And that's why I say I'm the best person to represent us, to represent the people here, the people of Atlanta. My anger comes from when I see an industry that discriminates against people, not because of skin tone. And I want you to remember that Hollywood being here in Atlanta, it's not about black or white. It's about their network. They deal only with their network. They understand how to handle it. There's so many things as actors that actors have to learn. For example, there are not going to be two of you. This industry is a controlled industry. It's just like the music industry. You put out a Smokey Robinson and there can be no other Smokey Robinson till that one dies. You have a Michael Jackson and there can be no other Michael Jackson till that one dies. Why? Because if you have 20 Michael Jackson, the main Michael Jackson won't be able to command the power. If you have 20 Tyler Perrys, the main Tyler Perry won't be able to command the power. So there are a lot of other things involved in this industry. Part of what we want after this meeting is for people that feel inspired to do big things to contact me so that they can start putting those organizations together. The organization for actors and the organization for producers. And start getting producers in and training the producers mentally. Because most producers will need a mental overhaul in order for them to get on the Landerwood boat. This is not Hollywood. We're not promising you the millions of Hollywood, but we're promising the reality that you can do this as a job, like a mechanic. That's the bare minimum, like a mechanic. Mechanics fix cars and get paid in Atlanta. Actors don't get nothing.
Will this be the same for writers? You'll have a writer group?
Yes, the
Also.
writer group, producers. I see writers as producers. In this industry, let's split it. You got the actor, talent. Okay, this on-screen talent. You got the producer, who is the administrative head. And you got the director, who is the technical head. All those other things are created by Hollywood to break it down and, make it more money and more people and more people. But a production needs those basic people. So in the organization, we're going to have an organization for actors and an organization for the others. That's producers, crew, directors.
I want to use myself for example. Thank you. I want to use myself for example. I'm a writer, and at this point, I feel like I want to start. I want you to tell me what position would this be in the industry after I've written a piece, and then I want to put make some chairs go right here, put so many chairs here. Then I would be the person to tell the guy when I want him to come in the door, and then I would pick if I want what nationality I want the guy. I want to start developing my story. So what position am I graduating myself
That's
up
an
to?
excellent.
Would that be director? Or?
That's an excellent question. As I said, a lot of these positions are artificial. They're not real. So we got our people chasing dreams. A writer is actually supposed to be the producer. When you rewind 100 years back to Biograph, does any of you know who Biograph is? You know who Biograph is? Know who Biograph is? The foundation of any discipline is understanding the beginning of that discipline. If you don't understand the beginning of that discipline and you jump in midway, it's like me driving a car. I started the car in Buckhead, and I'm heading to Jonesboro. And you jump into my car on Sylvan. And we go down the street, and the cop stops us, and you start talking. Cop asks, where you guys coming from? Sylvan. Who asked you to talk? We ain't coming from Sylvan, you're wrong. We're coming from Buckhead. But you think it's Sylvan because you joined in Sylvan. You should have asked me, where are you coming from? In case we get stopped, so that we understand the same thing. So, 100 years ago, the producer created a story. And when he created a story, he looked for somebody that could help him turn his story into a visual image. That's when he went and got a director. The first producer, his name is Biograph. The first director is Griffith. He was a son of a Southern Confederate soldier. When Biograph fired Griffith. And Griffith went to his father to complain that Biograph fired Griffith because Biograph did not see black and white, black or white. He wanted Griffith to share an office with a black man, Alexander. Griffith didn't like that, went to his father, and that's the separation. And the Jews, Meyer and Goldwyn, came involved. They pushed Biograph out, pushed Thomas Edison out, took that industry, and created a new history. That's why when you read about Hollywood, they'll never talk about the real person that started it. Hollywood was stolen in 1916 by the Jews. They stole it the same way they stole Facebook. But you see, they never talk about it because they don't want you to know. So when you understand that, you have to apply that and realize that you as a writer, somebody deceived you and made you think that your talent stopped in writing. No, it doesn't. You can't write, then you come out and start looking for somebody. That's why I used to have writers say to me, I've written this book and I want you to make it into a movie, but you got to pay me for my writing. You know what I tell them? What do you think your writing's worth to me? Nothing. I can write it backwards. Backwards. Do you follow me? So as a writer, you and I have the same talent. Now, what else you know how to do? Do you know how to turn your writing into a movie? That's what you're supposed to do, and that's a producer. So what Landerwood would do is go out into community and tell everybody that is a writer, stop running around with that title. You have to be able to turn what you write into a format that people will enjoy. And today's video. I don't have time to read, so you better go turn it into a video. You follow me? So every writer is going to be pushed into producing until our industry gets to a point where you got enough money to now say, okay, let me just write and you just produce. It's about money. But right now you got to do it all. Because the reality is this. If you have written something and you're hoping somebody will buy it from you, it might never ever happen in your lifetime. Question?
I got one more question.
Yeah. Go ahead,
when I got cast in the Alvin and the Chipmunk movie as an extra, the casting company, I can't remember the name of it, but the lady was telling me that they were from California, and she said they did not have a database here. But she said she was going to start using the people that she picked to be in the Alvin and the Chipmunk movie as extras to start her database. My question is, are there any African American casting companies here in Atlanta?
Yes, they are.
Yes.
Yes, they are.
What's the name?
Hilton Casting. There's
Yes, there are. There are a couple of them.
Yeah, there is a. There, if you go on Facebook, okay, if you go on Facebook, there's 4 or 5 really good casting groups on Facebook, and that's where you can just go on there and tell them what you want to do. And
I just couldn't decipher which ones were African American. I'm with some of those that are on
that's
Facebook.
it. When you go on Facebook, when you go on the Facebook groups, you'll actually see who they are, and you can talk to them one-on-one. If you want to just go on there and say, for instance, I want to do a housewife scene or something, and then we'll pick you up. And I've seen people post seconds, 2 minutes later, somebody's contacted them. Right. Yeah.
Yep. Now, as things develop here, we will look for people, indigenous people, who will also create casting companies that are going to benefit. Because you see, there are a lot of our people that will say, oh no, I want to be in the Hollywood style movies, okay? Which is okay. So we will need one of you to run a company for casting, okay? Yeah.
So, how much data and research have you already gathered when it comes to presenting this? And I'm more or less interested in the business part of it and the political part of what is the pitch, what is the presentation, what do the numbers look like that that warrant this, what you're trying to do?
When you say the pitch, the numbers, that might not be the way I'm looking at it or intend to go.
Okay.
The pitch, the numbers,
The demand, that's all.
is right here.
Okay.
I'm the pitch. I put it like this. Get me into that room, and I get the money. We already know what we're going to do with the money, right? Let me share with you what we're going to do. This is the mind-blowing part to let you understand we're thorough. When we get the money, we're going to split the money 3 ways. Remember, I'm going to be senator. I'm not going to touch the money. That's why I'm having these meetings so that people in these organizations that we meet, like 2 weeks ago, we had a meeting with media people. Media is an entity. We're going to create a media network that is going to be competitive with the mainstream. Because remember, the mainstream might not want to celebrate you. They might not want to celebrate you the way we want to push you out there.
Right.
So we're going to create a totally fresh thing for us. Now, as we create that, the media side, let's say we get the money goes into media to have real networks here, okay? 1/3 of the money is going to go into distribution. I don't know if you guys have heard our distribution plan. We're going to create a minimum of 100 movie theaters in Georgia alone. 100 in Georgia. I call them traps. We're going to create 100 traps for this new dope.
Mm-hmm.
Because we want this new dope to create a kind of addiction that is not comparable to any other drug made by man. We understand that what we need is for our quote and unquote traps to beat Hollywood traps. We already got that plan. See, when you go to the Hollywood movie theater, it's an experience, right? I've personally tested 3 of them already.
Mm-hmm.
Set them up, run them for 2-3 months, close them down. One was opposite the mall. So as to test the experience. Have you guys ever been to an African party?
Yeah.
Okay. How was that experience?
Right, the level.
Still tight.
When you go to Atlanta Wood Theater, it's gonna be as if you are in an African party. The food that is gonna be served, you want some popcorn, go ahead. The popcorn is gonna be $2 or $3 because we higher than popcorn. We're higher than popcorn.
And candy and snacks.
And candy and all that stuff that is not good for you.
Mm-hmm.
So what if we were to empower people to create so that it's a family environment, you come with your children, you chill out, you have your beer or whatever you drink, and you watch a movie in an environment that is perfect. Number 2, I've seen a problem with our brothers, both white and black, when they're spending money in the theater. A lot of times it's like they're paying for stuff that is not worth it. So the pricing is going to be perfect so as to make people come in. So that when he makes a movie, and we use the media to put the movie out there, and everybody's talking about the movie just like they talk about movies around, people will run and march into these new theaters. My intention, I'm going to be real clear with you, if the things that we do succeed the way I expect it to, in 10 years, a Hollywood theater is going to be maybe 1 a city. We're going to push the Hollywood theaters to a corner so that they can show the kind of movies they're supposed to show, which is the big, large budget films. You follow me? So that they're going to still be here. For the premium movies, the $200 million movies still going to be there in the theater.
So you make a Hollywood scale.
Yes. So push them to the corner they belong.
That makes sense.
So that we can eat.
I need to gain weight, babe.
Yeah, I kind of forced my way into this conversation. I never thought I would be here talking about this or listening to y'all talk about all this great information and exchange. I was supposed to do something else, and all of a sudden this came. You know what I'm saying? I came late. I was meant to be here. But what I want to say is this: you talk about the history thing. You know, Oscar Micheaux, the father of modern cinema, really, a black man, Oscar. He said a quote that was very valuable. He said, "In order to make it in this business, whatever, you got to control 3 things: finance, talent, and distribution." He said you got 1 out of 3 your voice, you got 2 out of 3 your force. What I'm saying is, are we being realistic? Because Dr. King died 50 years ago in my hometown, and they killed him not because he wanted to sit next to white people or live next to them. They killed him because he wanted to share the wealth, to redistribute the wealth of this country. Are we really being serious right now? Because the Bronfman family, the founder of Seagram's, Canadian Jews, you didn't talk about prohibition. Them Jews were vicious. The Purple Gang of Detroit, they took over Hollywood. University of Venditti. Bronfman family. We're not being realistic. Jack Daniels was created by a black man. Is the descendants of that black man getting paid royalties off of Jack Daniels? This is a vicious country. This is a country like American history is like gangster rap album.
Yes, it is.
It's very vicious.
It's definitely
But Dr. King also said if a man ain't want to die for anything, he ain't fit to live. Brother Malcolm was assassinated February 21st. He said that the media is the most powerful entity on the planet because it influences and controls the minds of the masses. When I'm saying we had Rosewoods, we had Black Wall Streets, we had Wilmingtons, we had all this stuff. Are we willing to fight and put ourselves on the line for what we want?
Yes.
I mean, you could talk all this stuff, but if we're not willing to protect nothing, what the hell is it about? If we're not willing to put ourselves out there to protect it, not just economics, but actually protect our interests like everybody else does in this country. That's how the Irish and the Italians became honorary whites, because 100 years ago they were niggers. But they took over the police and fire departments on the East Coast, and they took over Tammany Hall. Are we willing to go that way? I'm just saying, I'm not advocating violence. But I'm saying we're not protecting our ass.
Yeah.
You bending over not protecting yourself.
That's what we're
What is
doing
it
right
without
now.
for that truth? I'm just saying, I'm just being real.
You're
about
being
it.
definitely.
I'm not a black identity extremist, please.
That's a new rule.
Right now, we'll be shutting down soon, so if anybody wants to get any pastries or any coffee,
More chocolate. I just
we
like
got about
you
5 more minutes.
Okay. Hot
Okay.
flavor
Yeah,
programs.
that's
Yeah,
an
hot chocolate.
excellent.
Okay, cool. Okay.
That's an excellent
Yeah,
question.
Yeah, thanks.
That's an excellent question. Let me try to give you let me try to give you a fast answer
Okay.
or quick answer to it. I like you going back in history. I'm going to say something. No disrespect to anybody. No disrespect to history. We have to be careful who our heroes are. We have to be careful what footsteps we're willing to follow. I don't believe in violence. I don't believe in any of these things that bring confrontation among people. I don't believe in black stuff. I said it before. I don't believe in black power. I believe in human power. So nothing that we're doing is going to require us to protest, fight or do anything. It's real simple. I get elected in. My job, because I'm elected, is to write bills. They're already giving our money to California. They're already looking for ways to help us. They just don't know, because nobody in the room has the balls to say, let's create our own. So all they're trying to do is fit into Hollywood. I'm going to say, we don't need to fit. Let's create our own. Now, I want you to remember that as senator, I can pick up a mic and stand and talk. And I can say, people of Georgia, I put my life on the line for this one. If this one messes up, spit on me. But because of the confidence I have, this is what I will say. If this fails, I will walk on 75 naked. If this fails, now again, and I will say to the governor, Governor, trust me. I work for you. You understand? I work here. It's your legacy. The most important part is this. None of these people know about Hollywood and how it was created. None of them know the secrets I've just discussed with you guys today. You follow me? So they're not there to fight. They're going to be there to offer opportunities, and we create. So as we set the movie industry in and everything is approved, we do. The only thing that's going to happen is slowly we'll realize that we become closer to each other. I don't appreciate the black and white on white stuff that go on in this city. There's too much black against white stuff. White folks ain't the issue to us. I've never had a white person disrespect me. Most of my disrespect comes from black people. So why am I going to follow a narrative that a white man is my problem? It's not. My problem is Negroes. They don't want to build for themselves. That's why this room is not full.
They build for the white man, though. It's the white man. They build for the white man. We give the best of what we got for them. We'll die in that war for them.
But we don't want to build. But we don't want to build for ourselves.
Because our mental is messed up.
I have worked with our people for the last 15 years in this city, and I'll tell you this. Most of the most successful productions I've had are white producers. White producers. They will run the production, as we say, to the end. Black producers will always come with some BS. Always come with some BS. So at the end, it's us holding us down. You look at this community, it's the same thing. This was a white community before. White people moved out. Black people moved in. Black people tore it down. Then they're complaining about gentrification, and they want me to follow them. I'm not ignorant. It's time for us to build. For us. Look at the government right now. We got people like Keisha Bottoms in there. Unfortunately, listen to what they're talking about. Affordable housing. At the end of Astor Street, they're talking about affordable housing. In this election, I dare any of my competition to talk about affordable housing. I'll put my foot in their mouth. Because affordable housing is the problem. People don't need affordable housing. They need affordable home ownership. Home ownership. Don't just put me up in a high rise, but my kids can't sleep overnight. You're not empowering me. Most children don't respect their parents who live in high rises. How can I respect you when I can't even sleep overnight? But you say you're my daddy. You see the problem? How are you empowering the community? So we got to change. There's so much that we got to change here. And that's why we need the movie industry. Because the movie industry formulates our people's thinking.
The masses.
We need to be able to put out movies that show these rappers how to get money and bring that money back to the community to build the community.
I want to say something. You're 100% right. Senator, you state the truth. I've been a part of this community since 1972. And I remember when up there on Lakewood they had a movie theater and they closed that down. I remember when they had the park right down there on Metropolitan Avenue, that was Stewart Avenue Park, to see how far we came. When Martin Luther King went there, his kids couldn't even go in that park and play. That's the park he talked about in this particular speech. The thing is, and I remember when there were more white people here. I remember when I was walking down Lakewood, me and a couple of my cousins being chased by a couple of white folks waving their belts in the air talking about get out of here. I remember when Lakewood Fairground was open. You know, all of the great stuff we had in this community, they took it away.
Yeah.
Right now, we don't have a single movie theater.
When you say they took it away, for example, you see like here, over there used to be the Stewart Mall or Lakewood Mall.
Exactly, right.
That mall was second to Lennox. Just behind it. The problem is real simple. Black people walk into a community because they like it. Somebody built it. But when they go in, they tear it down. And when they tear it down, they look for another community to walk into that has been built. And some people have noticed this. So they say, okay, let's play then. I build it here. They're going to go. And I charge them $300,000. when I sell it to them for 10 years, then I'm going to get this dope boy, put him in there, and he's going to floor that neighborhood while I'm building this one. So while they build this one, they're flooring that one. You bought it for $300,000, now it's worth $50,000. You dump it for $50,000, but you sold it to a white man. What do you think is going to happen? But you're going to another neighborhood to buy it at $500,000. But when you come back here, it's $500,000. So it's like us going through this cycle that never ends. And at the end,
and developing the community that you're in, so that you don't continue to. I'm from Baltimore, and I've seen
That's a vulnerable home
the
ownership.
wire,
The wire.
crackheads, and everything. I mean, fiends leaning on the corner,
Mm-hmm.
and then you start to see somebody walking their dog.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the bluff right now.
right here.
It's the bluff right now.
Someone walking their dog.
This whole neighborhood, that's what's
Then
happening.
you go into your local corner store, some lady that's always selling pot. Maybe she sells fish dinners or something like. She had enough money to buy her business. Then you start to see that crowd mixing up again, and we don't go to her because we're too busy going out to other areas of the city to spend our money there. Now I just bought a chips for $1.60.
But they're black owned.
But they're black. And I know that money is going to go back into the community. We have to take some chances and invest some of our time, now, even when it hurts.
Yeah.
To not get the Hollywood script or whatever, you have to make some sacrifice. And I can say that because I'm making sacrifices in my own life right now. But I'm just saying that I'm gonna give it back to you. But what I'm saying is that it does happen.
Okay, it's not all the time that we are tearing down our neighborhoods. We have to watch who comes in our neighborhood, because most of the time the bad things that happen in our neighborhood are people that come into our neighborhood. I live at the end of Victory, and I tell you, like people have just asked me, "Who are you, the FBI?" Just because I said, "Do not dump that." And these are people, you see them tomorrow, they're in their beds and their legs with their family, acting like they're all that, but they just came and threw a whole truckload of tires right there. So that's all I wanted to say. It's not always.
Now let me just get back. Now let me just respond to that real quick. Part of the problem there, rentals. Because remember when we talked about not owning, most of the people that throw the trash rent. Most of them, they just come into the community 2-3 years and out. Most of the people in these declining communities are renters. So part of what the film industry has to do is to generate money in different businesses so as to allow the simple renters to become homeowners. If you guys have, please take the time, visit my website. You can get the information on the Facebook page. We're not just talking about employment. We're talking about food, which is very important. Look at the trees. No food. We're talking about housing. We're talking about creating laws that can replace half these trees with food-bearing trees. We're talking about putting laws that the government can buy the crack house first and hand it to you at $300 a month and not do a credit check. Because again, most of this government help, they ask you for a credit check, right? Yeah. Who owns Experian? Isn't that a business? How is the government helping you if they consult a business for your credit score in order to help you? That is fraudulent. That's fraud. But you see, there's nobody in there that sees that. But I thank everybody. Thank you, and I thank you, and I thank you. Please reach out to us if you can handle any of these associations, either for actors or producers, and we're going to work with you to grow it. And remember, when I get in there, no other association is going to pop up. None. That's the difference. Whatever we set is going to be the SAG, or whatever we call it. Because if we allow somebody else pop up, they're going to pop up with their agenda that will not deliver us. Thank you, folks. Let's clap for everybody. Group hug, group pictures.
Definitely group pictures. Get your group pictures, And hashtag please Lanawood and Namso for Senate.
And Cafe Ulu. Thank you so much for hosting.
Definitely Cafe Ulu. Definitely hit hashtag Cafe Ulu. Y'all are on the location, right? Yeah, on online when you go to location. Okay, so when you post your picture, definitely put Cafe Ulu and Lanawood, hashtag Lanawood, hashtag Namso for Senate. Hello? Hello? I am on the way right now. I'm on the way.
Let me start. Gina?
Remember, we need people to run this group. We need people that can coordinate this group.
I'm sorry. I'm supposed to be to 5. It is, I mean, yeah, it's 5.
Okay.
Okay.